Hey, what's up, everybody? Sean here. And as promised, we have the fifth month reflection of the personal fitness journey. I'm sure you guys have seen the week 20 video that was also recently put out. But this one, I do these once every month to dive a little bit deeper into some of the thoughts going through the entire process. The weekly recaps are more of a closer to day reliving of what exactly is going on as they happen. These monthly recaps are more along the lines of reflecting back on everything that has happened in that entire month, and even all the way up to this point, all of the 5 months leading up to this, where I think I'm at and where I think I'm heading, the major pitfalls, the lessons learned, things that I wish I knew earlier, those type of things, my overall thoughts. This is the fifth one of these. Not sure how long I'll continue these after the sixth one. I should be finished up with my deployment by that time. My life will change again. I'll be back home. I'll have my wife and kids. I'll have my regular job. My fitness itself is going to change because I won't have the opportunity to go to the gym in the morning and then go do some running in the evening. Probably will have different diet. May not be able to stick with something like an alternate day fast or fasting on the weekends when my family is involved and we're trying to have family meals together. So that's something I'm going to have to figure out. I may include a couple videos of that when I do finally get back home. But anyways, this video is going to focus on my thoughts and reflection for everything up to month 5 going forward. All right, so what are some of the changes that continued from the last month? We'll talk about it in a couple slides here about some of the big changes that did happen, but there are some things that were consistent and that have been consistent over the last couple of months. One is that I'm still trying to push myself to failure. If you watched my week 20 video, you know that I did reach failure quite a bit on some of the exercises that I did. Some of the exercises I continued to at least maintain where I was in previous weeks. But even doing that, I got to the point where the arms were shaking and could not physically complete the exercises and could not go further and push myself even further along for gains. So to that, I think I'm definitely pushing myself to failure for all these exercises. I would assume doing so would lead to those gains, but it did not seem to be the case, at least for week 20. More fruits, less grains. We talked about that for the last couple of months. More ab work. I think it's beginning to finally show if you look at the videos on the week to week basis. You can at least see more of an outline that could just be more so along the lines of less weight, less belly fat. But I think at least what's there, you're starting to see the outline of the abs. Some of the ab works that I'm doing are easier, particularly talking about like the straight legs. When you kick your leg up, basically kick the wall behind you. When I first started that, I was able to do 10 and I was dying. Now I'm closer to 25 and I can do that for the most part without breaking a sweat. So obviously there's some kind of gains going on. Still doing those 3 mile runs each day. I thought last month that I would be finishing those up. One of the things I talked about with my goals was that I was going to hit the 300-mile club. I thought I was almost going to do that at month 4 or at the end of month 4. It turns out it was only about 200 miles. Somehow I miscalculated or wrote it down wrong. So I had another month essentially of doing 3 miles each day. So I continue to do that. Once I do hit the 300 miles, I may not do the 3 miles every night. I might switch it up with something like swimming or walking or something different. Continuing to take creatine on a daily basis. I'm about somewhere between 8 and 10. I don't necessarily measure it out perfectly, but somewhere between 8 and 10 milligrams per day with it. One with breakfast right after the first workout. Second one usually somewhere around lunchtime. And then I'm continuing to track body fat. I use that new scale that I bought back during the 12-day war. And I'm continuing to use that to guide me on additional information and more context other than just straight up weight. So, what are some of the changes that did come? So, I did talk about last month that I was going to change everything up. I waited about 1 or 2 weeks after week 4 month for to start doing the new routine. I was waiting for some things to finish up, essentially finding a good stopping point so that I can have the graphs that I was showing in the weekly videos. I don't want to have another, basically had all the monthly views and then the last 3 weeks. I want to at least have that fourth month to have a final 1 month recap on it. So I changed that up a little bit, but within the last month, I've started up this new routine. Basically, in a third week of this now, just going into the third week. But it includes new exercise routines, switched up all the different exercises consisting of upper body, lower body, full body exercises, a couple different exercises that I added in, some that I removed. So some of them that I added in is like the farmer carries, the luggage carries, bodybuilders are another thing that I added in there, the 8 count bodybuilders, if you're familiar with those, more ab work like the straight leg lifts. In order to make room for that, I did less cardio. So the primary reason I'm doing this is because I've met my primary weight loss goal. So I wanted to limit some of the cardio. But one of my other goals I didn't really make much progress on, and that's for the 750 club, the weightlifting, the powerlifting. So I wanted to shift the focus to do more strength training to see if I can still reach that goal before the end of this rotation here. I did have diet changing. So initially, I was doing the alternate day fasting where I would eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, skip all meals the next day, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner again, continuously in that same fashion. I've switched it up so now that I'm at least eating breakfast every day. And then every other day, I'm doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So essentially, it's a modified version of alternative day fasting. It's like alternative day 24-hour fast. So I'll eat breakfast, won't eat anything again till breakfast the following day, eat lunch and dinner with it as well, then eat breakfast in the morning, and then just follow that same pattern. And on the weekends, I include a long fast. So I do that by not eating anything on Saturday. Depending on how the rotation occurs, there's sometimes where I have breakfast on Friday is my final meal before eating breakfast on Sunday. So that results in a 48-hour fast. Other times, the last meal that I eat before the fast is dinner on Friday, and then don't eat again until breakfast on Sunday, which amounts to about a 36-hour fast. All right, so what are the goals that I had overall, and where am I sitting with them? One of my top goals was to hit a weight below 155 pounds and maintain that. I started about 108 pounds. So dropping 30 pounds in a 6 month period, in this case, in less than a 5 month period, is good. Didn't want to necessarily go too much lower. I probably could go down to about 140, 145, especially since I'm still about 17% body fat. But in order to do that, I'm really sacrificing some of my other goals. And some of those other goals I may still not even be able to hit, even if I'm pushing hard. So I did hit the keeping my weight below 155. Hopefully, I'm able to maintain that. The 300-mile club, I thought I was going to hit that last month, but it's going to be this month. So I'm about 30 miles away from that. So if I'm doing 3 miles a day, that's about 10 days ago, actually a little bit less because in addition to doing my 3 miles per night, I'm also doing the 1.5 mile runs twice per week. So it's an extra 3 miles added on top of it. So it's really within maybe a week until I hit that. The 750-pound club is a big one, and I don't know if I'm going to hit it. It's disheartening because I was really kind of looking forward to that. But when I started that, it shouldn't say 12 pounds ago. It should say 120 pounds ago. 12 pounds would be easy. But when I did the 500-pound club, I essentially had 180 pounds between where I left off with the 500-pound club and the 750 club. Break that up evenly between the three exercises, the deadlift, the squat, and the bench press. It's about adding 60 pounds onto each of them. Where I'm sitting, and I talked about this a lot in the week 20 video, I haven't gained anything yet on the deadlift. In fact, when I first started this 3 weeks ago, I was actually below by about 40 pounds from where I did the 500-pound club for the deadlift. I've gotten to the point now where I'm back up to even. So I did 245, I think it was, for the deadlift. 3 weeks ago, I was about down to 240 or 200, but I'm back up to 245 now. The squat, I was able to bump up by about 50 pounds. So that one is almost meeting the goal. Hopefully, in another week, I'll hit that 60, but I've only gone up about 10 pounds for the bench press. And even with that, as I said in my week 20 video, I did 2 reps at 145. And when I did that, I basically trying to go for a third one, had to drop the bar into the safety bars to catch it. So that's really not looking good to be able to add an additional 50 pounds on top of that. So I'm hoping that maybe I can continue to push the squat and the deadlift and maybe get 10, 20 more pounds higher with the bench press in the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks before I actually run out of time. But I don't know if that's going to happen. The 1.5 miles, that's the other goal that I have of about 11 minutes. I'm flirting real close with it. I'm at 5 seconds ago with that. Last time I tested it, not the last time, but the closest I got to it was 11 minutes and 5 seconds to do a mile and a half. The following time when I tried it again, I talked about it in my week 20 video. It was disheartening. There's a lot of lack of motivation, lack of drive. I ran at 12:05, so basically added another minute to it. Continuing to run sprint workouts to try to see if I can push it over the edge. But hopefully, I'll hit that one too, at least in the next 5 to 6 weeks here. All right. So, what thoughts do I have at this point? Unfortunately, it seems like the goals are getting further away. Now, that's not to say for the 300-mile club, because that one is going to be definite. I will definitely hit that one because it's just a numbers game. Doing the 3 miles every day, and I've only got 30 more miles to go, so I'll definitely hit that. But when we talk about the 750-pound club, it's the progress has slowed and has reversed a little bit, and it needs to be going the other way and get closer. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to hit it, but I'm going to keep trying. Even when I'm doing with the squat where I've gained about 50 pounds for the weight there, I know my form is jacked up and it's not the best looking squat. I don't know. If I had more time, I would slow it down and do the exercises, do some more reps instead of focusing on higher weights and slowly get there. But if I want to get it in the next 6 weeks, it's going to be tough. I'm hoping because I've seen a fluctuation with my weight where last week 19, my weight actually went back up. This week it stabilized and went back down. I'm trying to maintain, but if I keep pushing for the 750-pound club and then my weight goes up to up above 155, then it's basically trading one goal for another. And if I can't, that'll be definitely disheartening if I push myself for the 750-pound club and don't get it. And then I sacrificed my weight and went up to 160 pounds and lost that one too. So it's just one of those things. If you have any suggestions, any words of encouragement, I could use whatever you have. Drop them in the comments because it's hard to stay motivated doing this day in, day out, especially when I can see the light at the end of the tunnel of going home. But doing it day in and day out and then having the gains and the effort slow down, it's like a slap in the face and it's hard to pull yourself out of bed and continue to do it. But I'm still trying. Throw that on top of the fact for these videos here. I started these videos for myself to hold myself accountable, keep pushing it so I can come back and look at it in the future. And then potentially maybe somebody can benefit from it. The other people benefiting from it is zero. We've only had maybe 2, 3 views for the videos on average. So essentially the only person watching these videos is me. And that gets demotivating as well of why am I taking the time to record these videos, do the editing, gather all the data, and it's not really doing anything for anybody. I was trying to hope and make an impact for somebody, but I don't know, maybe some point in the future it will, but at this point it's not. And then the other thing I'm thinking about is sustainment. As I mentioned, I'm in my deployment. My deployment ends in about 6, 8 weeks, somewhere coming up. Well, I don't even know yet when exactly I'm leaving. But right now, I've got fairly healthy meals available at any time of the day. I've got time to go work out in the morning. I've got time to go run at night. I've got a nice gym that's readily available. And I don't need to worry about taking care of the family at home because I know my wife has that on lockdown. When the deployment's over, one, I'm going to be jet lagged going back to the stateside. Two, I'm going to be going back to my civilian job in addition to trying to finalize everything with the military orders. With that, I can't just get up and walk across the street and go to work. I got to basically drive an hour there and back. It's going to cut in some time for the day. Going to help get the kids ready for school each day, and then having meals prepped and ready to go for everybody. It doesn't really fit into a scheme of 3 meals a day, getting a good variety of vegetables and grains and protein that's readily available. It's whatever we have that everybody will eat at the time that everybody will eat it. So that'll be interesting to see how we continue this. Whether or not I do videos is another thing on top of it. But again, take that one day at a time. All right, so the last thing to really look at here is just a reflection. So I did talk a little bit about a lot of demotivation, demoralization of what's going on based off of the slowed down gains. But I am glad that I've done it. If I look at where I started and where I am now, that green line was my goal of 155, and I'm below that now. You can see that while it's been crazy, as far as the amount of weight that's been lost each week, in that bottom graph, it's the higher peaks are the more weight that's been lost. Anything below that red line is weight that was actually gained. We have that one caveat there for the 12-day war on week 12. Also, with that, I switched to taking creatine, so that obviously has a little bit of weight gain associated with that. But I'm trying to keep the weight loss at least closer to that red line, closer to zero. Last week, I actually gained a little bit. This week, I lost a little bit more than that. So trying to keep it steady. But overall, I am healthier. I'm running faster. I'm lifting more. I'm thinner. I'm more toned. So I wouldn't necessarily have given this up, but it is hard to keep going. And that's something that if you're doing this, you need to be aware of as well. So that's really all I had for this. I'll probably have one more of these monthly recaps at least before I leave, depending on how long I do stay. Maybe it'll be 2 more left, maybe get a month 7 out of it, but time will tell. All right, that's all I have. So I'll see you all in the next video.